Hey, welcome to Vice Grip Garage. I'm Derek, and that is a 1970 Chevrolet C10. It doesn't run currently, and it's been off the road for 28 years. So a guy's gonna do the right thing, try to get that fired up back on the highway and take it for a 3-hour road trip to somewhere central Tennessee. Seems fine. No, this one's really rough. Great. So we're going to dig into this and take a really close look here in just a minute. But first, Derek's non-fictional storytelling time. Now, if you've been around for a while, you guys know that the story of these vehicles and the history of them, in most cases, if not all, is more important to me than the vehicle itself. And based on that theory, I have bought some really strange vehicles. Well, this isn't really a strange vehicle, but like most, it's got a neat story and an old timer tied to it. So we've got some firsthand accounts and a grandchild that kind of backed a lot of this up. But so this truck's been in Tennessee dang near all of its life, as far back as we can go, pretty much. And an old timer bought this thing and loved the truck, like most old folks did, you know. It's just different time, different day. And he eventually started hauling hogs with this thing, which is why it's earned the nickname Pigpen the C10. You can see the big crate back there, which we'll take a look at here closer in a minute. But as he got up in age, guys started cleaning out ditches, you know, getting a little wobbly on the highway, bouncing her through whatnots and hearsays and knocking over mailboxes. And the family finally said, you know, Dad or Grandpa, you're grounded to the yard. You can't drive that thing on the road anymore. So he started hauling firewood with it around the property and putzing around just like me. But then he started banging into the barn. Ran into the house once, and they finally said, Dad, Grandpa, you can't drive that truck no more. The engine's blew up. It don't run. So they stuck it in some trees, and the trees actually grew up around this truck. Now, let me explain this a little bit further because some people don't really get this, but this truck has been sitting 28 years, but not right in this spot. So it was purchased and then trailered to here. So there were some trees cut out to get this vehicle out of there and then placed in this spot here. And we'll see some whiskey dents and stuff like that on it, but the protective plate's still with it, the original owner's manual. We've got a really old title for this thing. Just a time capsule. Smells terrible and it's rough. Now, the story is it should run. They just said it was blued up. Or is it blued up? I don't know. But I've got a trip planned because I'm starting to move vehicles around here, and this one already has a new home and I would like to deliver it with silver bells. So let's take a look at this thing. I see a lot of great things already, like one West Coast mirror, and obviously we can't ignore the pig pen on the thing. We'll see what kind of engine transmission it has. We'll start with the basics. Does the engine rotate? Compression, fuel, spark, valve timing, clutch, rear end, brakes. Now we're just going to jam the thing on the highway. What could go wrong? I don't know. Let's take a look. Well, quite honestly, I could smell the varnished fuel from here. So fuel system's going to be an issue 1,000,000%. Well, let's start in the front here. We can see, you know, she's been towed a couple times gently. Big old chain hooks on it. This is where stuff was growing up in betwixt it. Bent all that stuff out, but you could see the little whiskey dents here and there in the grill. Been ran into stuff multiple times over the years. This fender's got a pretty good lick on it. Otherwise, this front fender is pretty straight. This tire's probably still good. It's only flat on one side, which is nice. You know, the old Goodrich something. I can't read the model number on it. This door's been in a ditch or 5. That looks like a post or something. Trim got cleared off it. The old sport mirror is gone, and we got the one Coronado West Coast mirror. These are pretty sought after, actually. So you can see his pig load back there, I'm guessing. Rocker's pretty decent. Got a little whoopee back over there, but otherwise this cab is in really good shape. Great cab corners. The roof on this thing, solid. Trying to look in somewhat of a sheen here, and I don't see any hail dents or anything like that. Bed's pretty rough. Missing all the trim. We got some weight reduction going on. This is probably flappage. Been dropped off a ledge or something, hooked on there. Captain's side rear, you can see where this sat flat for umpteen years, but this is an old bias ply, 6-ply bias ply, and about the toughest tire you can get. So these typically always hold air. Man, I love the look of these tires on old trucks or cars, really, the old bias ply stuff. Got some sort of exhaust tip pointed right at the box, perfect. Hanging out there. Trailing arm is still trailing. A lot better shape than a lot of the 68 to 72 trucks I have, or mid-60s. Tailgates, well, pretty good shape. Might be a little lighter than most. We have an old dealer sticker on there, can't read it. Got a lens, no trim. Bumper's been backed into stuff 68,000 times. Got trim on that side. Here we can see the plate is 97, 28 years. Pretty typical tailgate rot there. Is this carpet? Oh, the old fart used carpet as a spacer between his hog panel and the bed. The reason we know it's a hog panel also is it's fully enclosed off. Pigs can kind of climb and jump, if you didn't know. No idea what the bed's going to look like. I think that's a sheet of diamond tread in there, because I'm sure the hooves have just pounded this thing into Swiss cheese. We've got vegetation growing, and it's been used as a trash can for a long, long time. Same bias ply on the rear over here, and another great cab. We got a dent, but it ain't rotted. Rocker is savable. This door is in really, really good shape. Has the original mirrorage on it. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, it does have the glass. Also has a mount, though, for some other mirrorage. I don't know if he was double mirroring. Huh. That's on there. This fender snagged on something in reverse. I think that's the only way that would happen, is backing up, turn to the left, snagged on something, caught that. Shoot darn. This tire has, well, it's flat on 2 sides. Huh. That's the same Goodrich. He had matching wheels. He had the daggers in the rear and the radials when he was going to bingo in the front here. You know, comfort and function at the same time. Hood's in really, really good shape. Quite honestly. Glass is decent. We got a little bit of a scratcheroo over there from the wiper. But that is this 1970 C10. Overall, body-wise, fairly solid-ish. If we're being super honest, the bed, the tailgate is shot. The cab, hood and fender, decent. Rest of it is pretty rough. But let's get inside this bad boy, see what we got going on. See if this button gets stuck inside the handle. Oh, it did not. It's fairly common. What's going on with that? Oh. gonna guess lock doesn't work. Oh. What is going on with this door? Oh. That's what happened to the door. It got folded all the way backwards. It wasn't a bump and run. Old timer. Ow! Sorry about that. Old timer had the door open, rolled backwards on him, or he was backing up, folded this thing all the way around. Besides the terrible, I don't know that I've ever smelt varnish fuel like that within 58-foot circumference. It's kind of a jukebox full of cockroaches and mortgage statements. It's odd. It's pretty odd. Stings, actually. Ah. Wow. Oh, wow. I don't remember being this. I'm about ready to go down to a knee. Let me open the other door, let this air, and then we'll take a close look. See if the drinker side opens. Get some wind through here. Oh yeah. See, this side is great. Minus no cab mounts. All rockers shot on the inside and the floor. Oh, that's too bad. Ooh. Yeah. Boy, is the fuel tank leaking or something? We got documentage stuff and things in here. I'm just going to let it air for a minute. Oh yeah, glove box full. I see a kid or the old timer writing on the parts identification chart. That's pretty cool. Anyway, there's stuff in there. Just give me a minute to walk this off. This is how you can tell it has a key fob. Is when it does that. Okay. So, notice these handles. They use these in passenger cars as well. GM was pretty good at reusing whatever they could, wherever they could. Still got the old plate on her, which is nice. But look in here, the sill is pretty much rotted out on this side. It's worse on the drinker side. Looks like we got the 3 on the tree. Got a clutch. Pedal comes back, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, we'll pretend we didn't see the grass down there. There we go. Perfect. Seats in mint condition. Really nice pattern on it. So that's pretty much ready to go. Steering wheel is in great shape. I think I saw the horn button. Where did I see that? Oh, it's on the floor under that stack of paper. 94, 244. That might actually be, well, that's probably 194. Fuel Make It Happener is in stock. Look at that old Delco. Everything's in here. Wow, look at the blinker cam. I can't believe that didn't blow into pieces. Pretty awesome. He liked keeping some, oh, no way. Old needle nose. Look at that. We should run that through the cheek poker just to see if it has some sort of brand or something on it. We got stuff over there. And more stuff. And half of a pew-pew rack. The other half, I don't know why they would take half, is gone. So, kind of gives you the feeling of this feller. Hauled hogs around, had some pew-pews, kept some wrenches and doodads in the dash. Probably smoked, I would imagine. Oh yeah, see, smoked. We know him. You know the guy. You can picture him in his head. Look at this. When was the last time you saw a clothespin like that? That is really cool. That's got to stay with the truck. Let's get on that side. Look at the trim guard on the door here. Got to protect these doors. Darn it. See, this side's... Well, just pretend we didn't see that. I'm not going to step here, though, because I think I'll rip the entire side of the cab off. A little bit of Flintstoneage going on. Fairly rough. But the seat's in mint condition over here as well. Never been sat in. So that's pretty cool. This, I actually really enjoy. Look at the little scribbles and writing. It's almost like someone was sitting over here and the old timer said, flip that down and draw. Keep him busy. Or he was sitting in a field or something. Red vinyl, amp meter, wheel covers. So I'd have wheel covers originally. Door edge guards. That might be an original option. Body side moldings, all that. Sure. You know. Let's see what we got. 1996. Oh, it's registration or something. Registration. This is all the years of registrations. Registration. Is this where he bought it? Look at that. Sparta, Tennessee. That would make sense. I love this stuff. 1980. Maybe that's when he originally bought it. Animal clinic, animal tag. That's a nice punch. Might have to keep that. Toothpicks. He was a toothpicker. So he had the minced onion. But he carried his toothpicks around with him. So now, you know, he smoked, had a toothpick hanging out of his face. 92. Gotta have a spoon. Liked his leg bolts. Not sure what he's leg bolting. Well, that's our feller. First National Bank. Ketchup packets. What is that? Sonic. Look how old that is. America's drive-thru. Wow. Mice really liked the ketchup. It was in it. Old rag, a tire iron. There's the horn button. Good as new. Okay, that is the inside of our 1970 C10. So we might as well crack open the power bar, and this is where we're going to spend most of our time. So it's a 70, so it could be a 307 or a 350. I think 70 to 72 is most commonly 350. They went away from the small cubes, but let's pop this thing open and see what we're working with. Brought some juice. I think we're probably going to need it. Based on the back of the hood being, yeah, see that? I don't want to bend this. Ooh, there's an engine in here. I don't know if we got completed yet. Soaking down the hinges before we bend this hood up. Right in my mouth. Mouse nest or something up here. Juice. Juice that. Some juice over here. Boy, this stuff really comes out. This juice, the brake fittings. I'm sure we're going to be into that later, right? Well, hopefully. Oh, way better. Yeah, I'll put that down there. Woo, look at that. Is that a 307? It doesn't have the filler for a 307. Oh, we'll take a look at it. We've got, this looks original-age and complete-age. Wow, it's still got the washer bottle on it. This is cool. Oh yeah, I see the damper. It's a 307 for sure. Well, get in here and take a look. It's standing over there. Well, now that we got juice to high heaven over everything, I actually brought the color around on the firewall. Look, we got completage. We'll start way up front here. Look at this old battery. It looks like January of 92. Hanging on. Look at these little. Oh wow, them are, of course, original rad is in it. Oh look, the original hose clamps. So we could assume lower radiator hose never been replaced. Belt was replaced at some point, but it's not looking happy. All the other hoses has been replaced. Got the worm style clamps on it. So upper, all the heater hoses. Still has the heat riser. Speaking of which, the old Autotherm AC still intact. Look at that. It's like a dang old time capsule. Original clamps on the PCV. Still got the sheeps with the ram's head manifolds on it. Filter of death hanging down there. This thing hasn't been touched in a long, long time. Look how simple the wiring is. There's like 9 wires that run this whole truck, and I love that. We know this isn't stuck. I already pounded on that with the earth pounders. But the old over-under, 2-barrel Rochester, we can pretty much guarantee that's going to need to be rebuilt based on the varnish fuel smell that's just weeping out of this thing. Someone does have this unplugged or cut. Not really sure. Or it just fell off. That might have just rotted off. The pump down there. Which that's probably not going to work either. Be kind of fun to pressure wash this, see what it looks like underneath there. Maybe if we get time. Nope, doubtful, very. So that is our Chariot and our hot rod as a whole. And of course, we need to start right here under the hood and make sure that this thing is going to rotate. Oh boy. Oh, getting ready for winter. Don't blame them. Look at that spacer. That's for performance. Oh, wicks. Sweet. Huh. Anyway, we got some work to do. 39 degrees this morning. Fall is here. Got the old square body backed up with a little toolbox, a couple parts. Look, it's the same goal we've had since episode 1. What's the shortest distance from A to B? What's the least amount of money we could put into this thing to get it on the road to where we can enjoy it? Who cares what it looks like, what it sounds like, what people think of it? It doesn't matter. You're the one slid behind the wheel. You're the one putting fuel in the thing. Let's just use it. Get it on the road. That's our goal, and we're going to start with the engine. Let's make sure it rotates, and then we'll probably jump right into sparkles, and then we'll go into fuel. Reason being is, I think I might have some chili today. And I don't want a bunch of varnish fuel on my hands before I start scooping in some hamburgers. You know what I mean? All right, let's dig in. All right, let's keep it simple. Let's not overcomplicate any of this if we can help it. Get out of here. Come back to you later. So obviously there's a crank bolt on this. It's not a press fit because it's not a 283. We could put a wrench on that, but we've got a direct fan. It doesn't have a clutch, so it's completely mechanical. We've got a belt on this. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to grab this fan and rotate this engine. This is a low compression rig, so we're going to start there, make sure it rotates 360 degrees. Let me just make sure that it's in neutral before we start. Neutral check complete. I wanted to verify. I could see both of the over here on the are together parallel, which also says neutral. Reach down here and grab. Oh, ooh, that was a pretty good crunch. Oh wow, it's rotating, but it's got a lot of compression. Actually wasn't expecting that. Or we've got a ring ridge in here. Okay. I can hear the valve train just snapping in there. That is 360 degrees of rotation. That's pretty good. All right, step one, complete. It is not locked up. Doesn't mean we don't have a bad main bearing, rod bearing, hole in a piston, bent valve, bent push rods. Who knows? Again, the rumor was this was blowed up. So next I'm going to dig right into the ignition system here. I'm just going to pull off all of the lightning hoses, the cap, probably even the rotor. Go ahead and get all the sparkulators out. We're going to visually inspect those for physical damage. We'll look for corrosion. We'll look for signs of a bad head gasket, running rich, running lean, anything like that that can give us some sort of indication of how this thing ran last. We'll line all those up. We're probably going to have to start with the points. And while we get into that, we'll juice everything down and make sure there's some lubricity in the old rig before we start cranking on it. And of course, we haven't even talked about putting a lightning cube in. Does the starter work? Does the key hanging in there actually turn the ignition? It's a whole thing. But let's start by tearing everything off. Seems fine. Okay. Okay, ignition system teardown review. Points or contacts, depending on when you're born, terrible. Somehow the rotor has rodent feces on it. The cap is terrible. There's like green sulfur, spider eggs, all sorts of stuff in there. That's junk. Sparkulators, I dropped one on the ground. We'll pretend that one was good. The rest of these, that's 8. Burning oil, foul. That one seems fine. 2 is foul. I mean, they're all foul. It was running richer than Elon, let's be honest. This one was stuck in there, 7. It's carboned, junk. That's oil. I think it's got some valves, hard valve seals in it. It's going to smoke a little bit. That one's really terrible. Number 4. Really bad shape. I know it's hard for you guys to see that, but very carbon fouled, oil fouled. You're just going to have to trust me. Yep. Went all the way through my sinuses. Okay, we're fixing to rotate this engine. We're going to need a lightning cube for that. I might hook my lone wolf on this one since it's a man well. It's easier to get out here and do the thing. Let's make sure it's got some dinosaurs in it. That is plumb full. Huh. Oh. very detergenty. No gasoline, no antifreeze. That is dormant. That has been sitting a long, long time. Still got plenty of viscosity. Oil doesn't go bad from sitting, fellers and fellettes. I can crank this engine. I could run it on this. I could go on a 1,000-mile road trip with this. Think about this. Oil sat in the ground for millions of years. We pumped it up, put it in a bottle. 28 years isn't going to do anything. Okay? We can fire it up on that just fine. We'll probably change it, but okay, so let's go ahead and throw a lightning cube in this. Make sure the key is the right key. It turns over with the digitals, the starter works, all of that stuff. And then we can start working our way towards the points and contacts back there. We'll have to test the coil, and then we're going to rebuild our ignition system. I put a whole can of WD, water displacement on the 40th try, and I had like half a can of Kroll, which wasn't cheap, but I dumped that in there. Also soaked down the brake fittings again with the Total Lube. I'm going to do it again. Get 3 different flavors in here. I have a very good feeling we're going to be putting a master cylinder in this, soaking down the shift linkage. This stuff, why not? All right, let me go find a cube. All right, we'll snag this old timer out. Oh. Okay. I may have to run to the store to get clamp laters. Set that down there for now. Oh, something happened to this one. Oh boy. All right, get on out of here. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get some new posts for this. These are junk, absolutely melted, corroded, rusted. These wires are thin, but they're solid copper, good old day wires. So they'll probably work pretty good. And then we'll throw a cube in here and crank this thing. Give me about 45, 47 minutes. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Got some El Cheapo battery clamps. Throw these on. Normally I would just mix them up, put the black on the red, red on the black, or both the same color. That way if someone tries to steal her, they just burn the whole rig down and neither one of us wins. But I don't think anyone is stealing this rig anytime soon. All right. Well, for heaven's sake. I can't believe it. I'm looking right at it, I guess. These are thinner cables. I don't know if we're going to be able to squish these down or not. Well, we'll do what we can. Might have to run a wood screw through with the wire here. And the clamp later to get her to bite, We're just trying to get this to bite down. Get on there. Snip. Get some. Yeah, see, that ain't going to work. So, what I'm going to do is take off the top of this clamp later, and I'm going to flip it around so it's inverse. So instead of bumping up, it's going to bump down. And that should bite a little bit more. Okay? Okay, here we go. You know, I don't know that they'd take too kindly to me mentioning this, but down there at that O'Reilly Auto Part, listen, you're looking for a cheap battery, get a guy through. If you ask, they ain't on the shelf in most cases. There's the economic. Just ask. They're in the back. Also, in some select stores, is this. The value battery. $82 and change is all this bad boy costs. Still got the go handle. Seems to fit. We're going to juice this thing up and see what these points are doing. With any luck, we can file them. Not have to take them out. Not that it's a big deal, but we'd have to reset the gap and all that stuff. And it would be like $7. So if we could save that, that's a win. Okay, fire test approved. No huge sparks. Nothing wonky going on. I'm going to open this up a little bit. One thing you don't want to do is beat on the battery terminals. Installed. Okay. Oh, we got a mouse. Where'd you go, little fella? Theodore! Roosevelt! Come here. Your end is near, my friend. We just had a mouse jump out of the... I don't know where that came from. It's on top of the valve cover or something. Anyway, we got juice now, allegedly. Well, mostly because I'm lazy. We're going to try to do some more troubleshooting here without a meter. So now that we got a hot battery in here, we're just going to turn the key forward to ACC, or we're going to juice up the coil here. And I'm going to grab the Lightning Whirler rotor and just rotate it on the cam and hope to open and close the points or contacts, depending on when you're born. And we should hear and see a snap and a little spark in there. That's that electricity jumping. And if we don't, then we'll get out the meter and test the coil, start tracing till we got 12 volts in, do all that other stuff. But this is kind of just a shortcut. See if we got something going on there. Well, I think we're gonna have to get the meter out. I turned the key on, none of the gauges moved. And as I get down here, that should be snapping. I got nothing, but I can't tell. So we're gonna have to get the meter out. Make sure our value battery, it's got some battery in it. We'll start there. Work our way backwards. Make sure we got voltage at the coil and the Lightning Whirler. Because like I say, turn the key on, nothing's happening. Usually the amp meter, the fuel gauge, all that stuff starts sweeping and going all sorts of different directions. We're getting none of that right now. Guys got the meter out here and we're, digitaling around. We got a warmish battery. That seems pretty tight. Don't worry about that. Anyway, we don't have juice at the coil, and I started looking at this. I snipped this. I thought this was a body ground at first, but this might be our full accessory wire, which runs basically everything in the dash, including the ignition. So this probably needs a hot. So I'm going to go grab a piece of wire and a fitting, and we'll tap it right in here or here. And I should also maybe hammer this on a little bit better with a rock or something like that. And boom, fixed. Well, I got a piece of scrap junk wire here. And some Walmart fittings. So I think we can put something together. No idea how to run this tool. I think that's it. Maybe. Not really sure. This? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Traded this for a set of jack stands, and so far doing pretty good. This one's liquidishy, like it's been hot. Anywho's, who am I to judge? Okay, we're gonna Walmart this side. Give her a hats. Oh, yeah, see, this is where these don't do very good. Why is it flexing so bad? Yeah. Just give me a... Lost my crimper. Great. Well, I'm back. This is the same exact tool. I just needed to recharge the battery. That's all. That's all it was. Boop. See how easy that is? Okay. Get this connected. This should fire up the fuse panel. Oh, I need a ring terminal on this side, don't I? Oh, I ain't got one. Okay. Well, if we ain't got a ring terminal, we're going to do Derek's ring terminal, which is a universal size. It's called that. And then you set that over the post and just give her. Okay, installed. Let's see what that does. Warmish lightning. What's inside say? No gauge has moved, but... Oh yeah. She's cranking now. Nice. Okay, in one swoop, we've tested value works, connections work, the accessorize thing is doing the accessorize. None of the gauges seem to be doing anything, but I think we'll figure that out later. The ignition wiring, ignition key, and starter work, and the engine rotates. So that was a lot of testing in one shot. Now we got to move on to sparkles. And that is going to come down to the contact set in here and the coil right here, which has a primary and a secondary winding. We're going to worry about this here in a minute. Right now, I just want to focus on the contacts. We want to make sure that we have a nice clean pad on both sides where that's making a nice ground or contact essentially in that. And then we'll move forward. Kind of a very awkward angle with the coil being there. But I need to get right in here somehow. I don't think I'm going to be able to, actually. And file between these two pads. I might have to use a piece of sandpaper, actually. I can't get my leather person in there, so let me go get a piece of sandpaper quick. So I got a little chunk of 400 grit sandpaper here, so think like emery cloth, which you can get at virtually any hardware store. Let's see if I can slide it in here. Slide. Come on now. Well, for heaven's sake. Can't see nothing. I can't believe it. But I'm looking right at it. Well, okay. I'm gonna bend this whole truck upside down if I have to. Now I dropped the paper. I can't feel his hand. So what's going on over here now? That's an acorn, I think. There we go. Finally got it in betwixt. Just working it back and forth. Let the pressure of the pads do the work. If you don't manipulate either side, you're basically creating a flatter surface. But we don't want to sand here forever because we're going to get rid of the contact point. There we go. Now, just turn the key back on, see what we got. All right. Oh yeah. Hear that? Hear that snap? 1000% got spark there. So we're good. All right, so now that we know we got some sort of activity going on at the points of contact there, gonna go ahead and replace the rotor. It's cheap enough, it's $3. We'll put a new cap on here. The other one has clearly been submerged for some time. If you're on a super tight budget, you probably could file something like that. Also, take note when you have this off. Ouch, keys on. I just got shocked, which is a good sign. That your mechanical advance springs are working. See how these arms flail out? You want to see that. Make sure none of this is stuck, corroded, rusted together. That's pretty good. I'm also going to shut the keys off because I do not need any more electricity into the heart bone. I'm already at risk. All right. Using cheap Mastercraft stuff, and that's going to be enough to get us by. This has a square peg. That's going to drop in on that side. I think fuel delivery is going to be our bigger issue here. We know the tank is fully varnished just based on the smell. I don't even have to look at it. That's a waste of time. So did the pump incur the brunt of that whole situation? Meaning, is it full of rust and debris? Or is that going to work? Or do we have to put a clicky clack in it? I don't know. We don't. This is your window, of course. So whenever you have a point system distributor, this little thing here, that's your window to adjust your points or contacts without pulling the cap off. Now you know. I think I need a standard for that. All right. Got me a standard, which I think is basically called a Roberts in the northern states, you know. There we go. And then I made a mark on the base. This is going to be our #1 post, which tells me the ignition has definitely been gone through, because normally #1, I would put it right here, kind of pointed towards the #1 on the bank, but now it's over here. So someone has dropped this unit in before. Not going to mess with that right now. We just need to make a road trip. We're not doing a full restoration or making it correct or whatever else. So there we go. That should be done. Now we need hoses and porcelain staffs. Snip in these lightning staffs here. You know, a lot of people are brand loyal. For example, you know, AC Delco, GM, Motorcraft, Ford, whatever. On these stock applications, it really doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you. I went with these over budget. These are the rapid fires. I didn't want that good of a plug, but I wanted a hotter heat range based on what I was seeing and reading on the old ones. Well, they didn't have them in the R45 TSs or the the R range of the AC Delcos. So we're into the rapid fires. And this is a heat range 2. I believe. We'll see what these do. I think I'm going to throw them all in first, and then I'll come back around with the tool and snip them down till the elbow pops once. Just a one popper. Drop that one. Porcelain's broken. We'll find it and put it in anyway. Okay, next. Oh, I'm so darn clumsy today. Dropping everything. I got 14 tools down there. All sorts of stuff. You know, if this doesn't immediately light off, I think the position of our lightning whirler is suspect. And then we'll put her on TDC and just double check that. But out of our faith in being lazy and assumption, we're going to let her rip the way it is for now. So as soon as I tighten these down, we'll get the lightning hoses on. I think I'll just pour something down the yap and see if this makes some noise. I'd like to hear it at least try to run. Make sure the bottom end isn't knocking out of the thing before we continue to put time and money into this. And if it sounds decent-ish, then we'll move on to fuel. Get this thing idling. Make sure all the head gaskets and everything come around. Might even change on the Earl. You know, who knows? The day is young. Lightning hoses. Of course, the cheapest set I could find. What are these? Ultimas. If you're really in a pickle, guy can reuse on the old ones. And if you could find the chart, you could figure out what resistance they're supposed to have or what the range is. And throw a meter on them. And if they pass, they pass. Reuse the bad boys, you know. Let's see, start with the coil. That's an obvious, easy one. Boom. 18436572. Oh, these are super long because they're actually made to go underneath and around the engine, which we're not going to do. I'm sure all those standoffs are broken and missing anyway. So we'll kind of just get a little creative with our extra length here. Just don't want them to burn. Here's a question for you. When you put your lightning hoses on, do you do it one at a time? Like you follow the order around? Or do you do what I'm doing? I'm on this side of the engine, so I just do all of the odds first. I'm here. Let's get it done, is my thought. So I just skip the posts. 1, 8, 4. I got my 3, 6. Then I'll get my 5. All right, so I don't know, one of these. And then my 7, and then I'll move over to the other side. For me, it's just easier not to jump back and forth, but how do you guys do it? Bleep boop it down in the comments. Just curious. I don't know if you caught that. I was over here yapping away, and I put a hose on a wrong post. I got her fixed up though. 1/8. I need my shortest guy. Probably be this one. Boy, that cap seems like it just wants to flop. But if that's the way it wants to live, that's what it is, I guess. Oh, this one actually has the holder back here. Wow. There we go. 4. Keep working my way around. Well, we're in a pretty good position now. Lightning hoses in, sparkulators, cap, rotor. We verified the contacts are contacting. I think we should twist the key. Yep. And see if this thing bangs off, makes some noise, smoke, something. So I'm going to take some pre-mixed fuel. It's got a little bit of 2-stroke oil in it. And that's going to help lubricate the cylinders, rings, valves, all that stuff. And keep in mind, we don't know if the timing is correct. The absolute worst thing we could do right now is fog this down with brake cleaner or carb cleaner or starting fluid or something extremely flammable. Because if it's all wrong, then we're worsening the wrong. Anywho's, let's twist the key, see what happens. Yep. There it goes. Is it idling? Something sounds weird. I think that's victory. We got all sorts of weird noise. Well, that was loud too. All the exhaust is broken. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, it's hitting the shroud. I thought it was knocking for a second. Okay, we got to fix that somehow. Or let it self-clearance. But it ran. And it sounded pretty decent. I didn't even check the gauges or nothing. Whew. Well, that's good news. Really good news. All right. Still didn't fix this shroud yet. I think we'll deal with that later. I'm not really sure. The whole radiator needs to slide or what. But anyway, we got to move on to fuel system. We're going to forget about the pump, the tank, all of that for now. We're going to go right into the over-under, the old 2-jet Rochester. And let's get this off, and we'll just do a quick and dirty tailgate rebuild on it. We know it's going to need it based on the fuel smell, the varnish smell. It's going to be full of junk. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. A lot of you are surprised and have noticed I'm trying to wear gloves and safety glasses and ear protection. Well, I mean, look at my hands. They're absolutely hamburger. Same with my sight and my ears. And now that I'm older, I'm trying to set a decent example, not only for your kids, but my kids are old enough to know right from wrong. So I'm going to try to show them a little bit more right before I go, if you know what I mean. You know, I'm not perfect, but it's a bad habit I've had for 20 plus years. And trying to make it right. See what happens. Great. That's stripped. Perfect. I need a big ranch dressing. Quick health check before I throw this thing back together. It would not have ran the way that it was, but I think we've got it fixed other than one issue I'll show you in a second. We had rodent feces in here. That's a new one for me. Well, I've seen it before, but it's been a long time. The jets were plugged, which is these guys right here. The passage from the accelerator pump to the check ball was plugged. The check ball itself, which is this guy right there, was stuck in there, so there wouldn't have been a pump shot or primer. This gasket is shot on that assembly as well. The wells were plugged as well as the tubes. In pretty rough shape overall. Power valve still seems to be working and functioning. I cleaned up the needles with a cheek poker. Did the same with the base here. On the base we have a bad leak that is going to suck air through the throttle shaft, which the casting is actually broke on this side. So we're going to have a vacuum leak. Now it is time to throw all the new parts back into this, reassemble it, and let's get it back on the truck. Well, the fuel making happener is back on it. Hopefully it can make fuel happen correctly-ish. There was a vacuum cap missing, got that dialed in. Transfer slots are set. Got the idle mixture screws set, you know, about where they should be. If it doesn't want to sit here and idle, it's just cold-blooded nature, or it's that vacuum leak. And we're gonna have to tune around it a little bit. Also timing. We have no idea where that's at, but let's hit the key and see what happens here. Come on now, bring the thunder. There we go. I primed it up so the bowl is full. Yes. I don't hear any clanking. It must be building oil pressure. Let me look. Says it's charging. Oh yeah, over half on oil pressure. It's gonna die here in a minute once it runs out of fuel in the bowl. I don't mind running it a little bit like this, especially at idle with that old oil in it. We'll get all the sludge and everything down into the pan. And now that it's shut off, boop, boop, with my clicker. No, only Volkswagens. Then we'll drop it. Probably right about now. We know it's worth it. It's not knocking. It builds oil pressure. It lights right off. That is fantastic news. So far, we've been through the ignition system and the fuel system. We haven't touched the pump or a tank yet, but let's go ahead and drop this oil out. Or should we wait until we're gonna have to get under here with tires and stuff. Let's wait on that. Let's finish the fuel system so we can, let me go wander around through Valve Cover Valley and some other various stashes of old stuff and see if I could find a fuel container suitable for road trippage. Because remember, we've got about a 3-hour cruise in this bad boy if all goes well. We haven't touched the clutch, transmission, rear end, or brakes. Fine. Now the vehicles I have back here are back here for a reason. We sell a ton. We move them down the road as quickly as possible, but these are all here for projects or builds, or they have sentimental value, like my boy's truck, my truck, waiting on parts for the Jeep, waiting on parts for the Ford. I need to put a rear main seal and rebuild the transmission on this, but I love it, so this one is not for sale. And that's why these are back here, but sometimes we borrow some parts out of them, and if memory serves me correctly, this has a huge fuel cell in it. There it is over on that side. So I got to get over there now. These plants are really neat. I highly recommend them. They're really great to have around, you know. Let's see if the guy can muscle this in here. It's got very old gas from a couple years ago, but there. I don't know. That should work. Good enough for who it's for. Where is that? Okay. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Might need to figure out how to get that to sit flatter. Or, there we go. So now that a guy's got the NHRA approved fuel system in here, I'm gonna grab some line. I got some chunks and stuff cut up. And I think we're going to run it right through the access port on the floor, also known as rotten rust. Probably zip tie it to the frame, bring that right to the pump, and we'll see if that mechanical pump is going to come back around and keep this thing running. Well, I think if a guy, well, look at that hole, perfect for fuel line. Jam this through here. And this is just so we don't have to tape it down the side of the truck this time, maybe. Not quite as look at me. You know what I mean? Boy, we might just have enough. Okay. Boy, this varnished fuel mixing with the original varnished fuel, whew, getting a little woozy. Okay. Now that I've got this clamped on, hopefully we have enough length to reach the pump later. Oh, we might just have enough. Yeah. Don't need to put a fill tray in. We're gonna have clean varnish fuel right out of our see-through tank there. Yeah, now we can zip tie that right there. Ah, that's a win. Okay. And we'll snag up two of the lightning hoses here so they're not hitting the exhaust manifold. Landing under fuel over. Just like that. Looking good. And then we'll put one, I don't know, somewhere down in here. Wherever I can reach. Okay. Come on. There we go. One right there. Fuel system complete. We should be able to prime it, fire it up again. See if this pump will come back around. Okay. Easy, faster, easier. But faster, but easy. We might have to force some fluid back down into that pump, get the diaphragm juiced up again, but we'll see. Might get lucky. Okay. Come on, now. Guess I'll pump it. I don't feel the hose pulsating yet. Did we run out of fuel that quick? I might have to fire it and stand out here and bottle feed it to give that pump a shot. We'll try her again. Okay, I'm going to fill that hose backwards and juice up the pump. All right. Juice that line up. Hopefully the pump will pick it now. Come on. Come on, fuel pump. Nothing yet. Come on. Come on, fuel pump. Huh. Might have to juice her the other way. This way down into the pump. Pretty good run sesh, though, for the little small block. Starting to see some smoke off the manifolds and such. That's pretty good, but we still ain't got a juice pump later. So basically, going to loosen this fitting, put some juice in this way, down to the pump, and try to get that diaphragm. Diaphragm again. Oh, for heaven's sake, who put this on here? There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, see, we got no fuel. But if we we're going to fill it like this. Let that sit. Cluck. Well, I think it's pumping on that old fuel. Well, if we're going to be running it for longer periods of time, we might as well throw some ice cube juice in. I got the Xerox Original Green, the OG. It's already 50-50, so I don't gotta haul water down here or anything. 1996 and older GM, 2002 and older Ford, and 2001 and older Chrysler. This is the stuff. Winter's coming anyway. This will give us some winter protection. I don't hear it spilling out anywhere. But it was empty, which is weird. Someone either drained it, maybe. They were thinking about winterizing it way back then, or we've got a leak somewhere. Hopefully not a freeze plug or something like that. Ah! Got it. Got to bring this pump around. I mean, we could pop another mechanical in, but I always try to save on what's here if I can before we just start bolting new parts on. We're going to crank it again, but this time I'm going to pressurize the tank itself and try to push fuel through the line to the pump. I'm going to leave that hanging there, as we're probably going to need it. Prime it again. Let's give it another shot. I don't see or hear any leaks. Yes. Okay. This time I'll blow into the rollover valve. This pump might be dead. Acts like it wants to, but then it doesn't. Yep. How much more do we even want to fart with it? That's the question. The other question, finding these late model parts, old parts, isn't as easy as it used to be. Oh, try it again. Really trying to save this 20 bucks here. Took the line off at the pump, pressurized the tank, confirmed I got fuel under the truck. There's about 37 gallons down there. So when this lights the ground on fire, it could take out, you know, enough grass to get over to the fuel tank there, and then that'll go. And then we just start pushing cars into it. Okay, plan. Come on. Come on. Full fuel. Come on, son. Starting to feel something. Although that could be my bad back or the fan hitting the shroud. I'm feeling the line for a pulsing. If you could feel that pulse, that's that diaphragm. The reason I was banging on the carb is the needle's dry, fresh. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Oh, you stubborn little. No, out of squirter. Still not pumping fuel. Wow, I can't believe a fuel pump sitting 30 years is going to be bad. Well, I guess we need to run to town now. See if I get one of them. Oh wait, I might got one laying around. Oh, I already robbed that one. Ooh, oh, shoot. Maybe. Oh, dang. Yes. Oh, nope. Here's one, but it's broken. Well, with the engines I've got laying around, they've all been robbed already. I try to reuse anything I can, especially if it saves running to the parts store. There's one in the O'Reilly network, but it'd be about a 45, 50-minute drive there, and then same back would be pretty much dark. You can hear it running again. I'm giving her another rip. I had a vacuum leak. My fault. Fix that. Just gonna keep trying to nurse this old pump along, pretty much until about the sun goes down, and then it doesn't matter anyway, and I'll go get that new pump. But this is the longest it's ran. We could finally got it. Nope. Maybe. I don't know. Okay? It does have a sticky lifter. That's starting to come around, but I just love the old story about, you know, she's blued up. Got a Parker. That sounds pretty good, actually. Hey, we might got this. I don't want to jinx it. Let her run for a little bit. oil. Ha! Look at that. Get out of my teeth. Well, persistence has paid off. I think the pump is pumpulating. Sounds pretty good, actually. Now the next big test, before we talk about the B word. I don't think that's gonna roll down. Do we got clutch and gearage? Let's try it. And then we gotta let this motor cool. Okay, timing's a little advanced. Oh, there we go. First, allegedly. Yep. Reverse. Ooh. Reverse. Yep. Fourth. Or third, excuse me. We got clutchage, we got gearage. Low on wind. She's a little warm. Oh, thermostat's open. Tricks are for kids, but I got a tip for you. I'm gonna try to bring this lifter back around, and then we're gonna try to hit 2 coyotes with the 2x4 and get a bunch done at one time, if we can. Sticky lifters, most likely just varnished, gummed up, everything like that. And a little shot of vitamin B12 here could help that. I'm actually adding this directly to the crankcase, and I know you're scratching your forehead right now. Well, listen, this could potentially work. Now, if you're gonna try this at home, I ain't gonna be responsible. Only idle it when it's warm. Do not rev it up, anything like that. Feed her the onions, pin the ears back. We're gonna let it idle. We're gonna monitor the oil pressure and hope that that chemical gets through the oil, hits that lifter, and frees her up. Then we're gonna shut her down, and we gotta let this thing sit and cool. So the next step is get a jackulator under it, get the front teeth dangling, get some jack stands under it, pop the tires and wheels off. We're gonna have to deal with those eventually anyway. We gotta start thinking about brakes. While we're working on brakes, which we have absolutely nothing, the engine will be cooling down. We can come back later, drop that oil out, refresh all of that. And we might as well rip these tires off the wheels, figure out what we're gonna do with the wheels while we're doing all this as well. Meanwhile, we've got an hour and 5 minutes left before it's dark. It's getting dark early. It's that time of year. I got a lot of cattle gates to put back up. Anyway, let's fire this up. Let it idle for a couple minutes. See if we get that tick to go away. Watching my oil pressure. I got plenty of it. Need to adjust my fuel, make it happen. Again, don't be revving this. Just let it chew. Let it chew. Okay. Still ticking. Adjusting the air fuel screws. You can hear the idle coming up. down, hear that ticking, that's that lifter. Boy, she's starting to sound really good, ain't it? Good old small block Chevy. All right, let me get a jack later. We'll get the front up. We're just gonna let that kind of do its thing. Let's see what we can snag here. Right there. That seems dangerous. Perfect. Well, we're gonna start with brakes. Just gotta think of it like a hydraulic system, which it is. We need something to create pressure, push the juice. So let's start with this master cylinder, which we know is bad. These two fittings here, I've been juicing them every chance I can get. You can see that here. Hopefully we can get these off without twisting the lines up. And after this, we'll move to the fronts, which does typically 70% of your braking, which is also basically a passing grade. So if we even pretend the rears, you know, we just did them in our sleep, we're good to go. You know, if push comes to push. Okay. Yes, look at that. Where'd my juice go? Juice, where are you? Oh, it's over here. I gotta bring the canopy up on this tree. There we go. One more. Come on. Yes. That is fantastic news. I got 2 more bolts here and here. Let's get this off. We'll bench bleed the new unit. Get her put right back on. Well, the guy's in the carport here, and we're gonna bleed this up. Normally I just do this right in the rig. I mean, look, this is your firewall instead. Brake pedal, brake rod, doing the same exact thing. But it's at such a steep angle on the jack stands there. The reservoir is just gonna spill over and make a mess. So we're gonna do it right here. And we'll just keep bleeding this until the bubbles come out of the tubes. Nice and slow. We don't want to agitate it. We're just moving nice and slow. And we'll go bolt this back up. Okay, that was successful. Put that back. Quickly get my cap on. Hold it like this. There we go. Well, the new master cylinder is in. We have to hope that the shuttle in the proportioning valve isn't stuck one way or the other. We'll have to find that out down the road. So let's jump right in and get to work on the front. We'll get the front wheels off. We'll start on the captain side. I'm sure it's going to need soft line wheel cylinder hardware. Who knows what the shoes and the drums look like. But let's tear in. We've got to get started. I'm going to get as much done as I can before the sun goes to sleep. You know what I mean? Okay. Good idea. Well, I think that's as far as the guy's gonna get tonight. By the time I clean up my mess, put my tools away, all of that, clean up for supper, it's gonna be well past dark. However, it runs. It sounds pretty good. Haven't checked on that sticky lifter yet, but we can tomorrow. It seems to shift gears. We kind of have a clutch, it appears. And we've started on brakes. With any luck, we'll be able to finish up the brakes tomorrow and maybe even have time to dig into the looks department. Just a tickle. We don't have to get carried away. But we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow back on the 70 C10. Well, good morning. Day 2. Cold and raining. So we're gonna have to switch up our plan here quite a bit. Now, I won't melt in the rain, but the digital equipment and tools don't like it. You know what I mean? And we're conveniently in a water washout, which is, well, I'm thinking right now, I don't think we're gonna get out of here if we sit here much longer. So we need to quickly get tires and wheels in the front of this, so all 4 are semi-round, and try to get this up to the carport. And then we can work on it in there because a big thunderstorm is coming and it's about to really just start opening up on us. The problem is I've only got 2 bays and it is full of stuff already. So I'm gonna have to spend an hour or more rearranging everything, making some room to try to get this truck into the carport so we can continue to work on the thing. So let's start with tires and wheels. I wanna save a bunch of money there as usual. We're gonna do nothing fancy, but I do wanna paint them up. So that needs to start drying now while we finish up the brakes out here in the rain so we can slap those on. And in betwixt all that, I gotta make room. And mess, go. Oh, look out, Alex and Lucky. Well, these wheels are incredibly rough. I'm trying to resurface them enough to hopefully take a wheel bead, but it's not looking good. These are just absolutely rotted. They sat in the ground for a long time, and that's really evident here. I'm not going to spend too much time cleaning these. I mean, these really need soda blasted, but that's not worth the money or the time if they're not even going to hold a tire. So we're going to call this good enough. Clean them, prime them, and paint them. All right, these are about as good as they're gonna get. They should go on the scrap pile, to be honest. They're just in such bad shape, but I don't want to throw money at new wheels for this truck. So we're gonna try this first. I do have another set of 6 lugs, but they're on a 71 GMC. And then we'd have to play musical tires in the rain. Speaking of rain, I gotta go get the truck and get it into this slot right here. It is absolutely pouring rain. Don't have a choice. I'm just gonna go sit in the rain. Try to get that left front back together so we can get it rolled into here. Well, the guy ain't got no fancy Taj Mahal pop-up tent and whatnots, but I do got the tarp off the firewood pile and 2 pick-em-up trucks and a couple cheap little bungee cords. So now we'll fire up the square body, drive this truck forward and make some sort of makeshift lean-to. Go find another chunk of cardboard to sit on. See if I can finish up the brakes over here. Well, that'll help. We're in a light rain or drizzle right now, but heavy rain is coming. You guys have seen me do this a million times. Just gonna put her back together. New shoes. Gonna reuse these drums. Gonna turn them. Oh wow, I was gonna say with just some sandpaper, but that is actually really bad. I'm gonna hit them with the cheek poker, then turn them. You can see the weeping wheel cylinder has really done a number, made them really mucky. Nonetheless, we got to get a wheel and tire hooked on this thing so we can roll it out of here. And the other side, we'll dismount it. We'll do the brakes later. We just got to get out of this weather. This is going to work. Probably not good. Great. Just finished rebuilding the drums with some 80 grit sandpaper and of course some Vice Grip Garage Rebuild Black. Brand new! Got all that assembled, moving on the tires. Now I know what you're thinking. It looks like a white wall. Well, it is. Rarely do I ever say let's do white wall. It's either white letters or black wall. But this truck, for some reason, is just yelling at me, you have to do white wall. That's what we're doing now. I'm cleaning these up because these have been sitting outside in the tree row since 1976. I don't know that we're going to get much. Might have to get some juice in here. These are going to be a little small. They're 215 70 15. They're the right width, but they're not very tall. But it's what I got. We're going to make it work. I don't have a hose or anything like that on the carport, so we're just, you know, making do. There's some glass cleaner, some Comet, and elbow grease. We should be able to bring these around. More gooder. Yeah, that's going to be the right look. Kept the core in because I'm lazy. Look at that. Hopefully this thing seats. This is in really bad shape. Well, we got the iron manises bolted up here, so new brakes, rebuilt drum, repacked the bearings, brand new wheel, junk tire. Sure, should get us into the carport. You can see the height of the tire though. That's kind of my concern compared to like the old bias ply. Might look a little bit goofy, but gets us down the road and gets this thing out from the tree row. So that's a win-win. Down on the paws. Springs will settle a little bit, but you know, I like the white wall. I do. Just something about this truck just yelled at me and said that's what needs to happen. What a difference between the rear. Oh, the varnished fuel smell. Now we gotta see if it'll fire today. Oh, I didn't even think about it if it was gonna roll. Look at that. What a sweetheart. Let it warm up, and then forward we go. So as a quick reminder, we still have Berryman in here, so we can't be revving this thing up like crazy. We just want to scoot. Scoot. But I got an idea. Since it's raining, truck's already wet, I got a well over here and a hose bib. Let's scoot over there, and I think we're going to pressure wash this really quick. It's already going to be dropping a bunch of water and everything in the carport, so might as well make it cleaner-isher while we're at it. And then we'll try to get it in there. But again, we got to move diligently. First time moving under its own power, 28 years. Come on, girl. There we go. I didn't even check if the rear tires were locked up. Yes. And we'll get all this mold and stuff sprayed off of here with this guy right here. Oh, don't you quit. Are you getting sassy with me? All right, give me some time. It's gonna take longer than I thought. But I'll get this Hugger orange just a shining. Well, it's clean anyway. Well, guys, got to wash them. Man, this is looking great. Well, at least on this side. This is a Craigslist side. You get one picture, and it's going to be this. It's going to say 14 grand. Know what I got? Anyway, I'm treating it to some fresh farm fuel. Oh boy. Yeah, well, pretend we didn't see that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and top this off. We're going to need it anyway. I'm just being optimistic about the trip that we might potentially take. Not going to do anything about back here. That just needs scooped out or something. There's lots of dirt, vegetation, and everything else. But the body looking good. I don't even think these have wind in them. It's just the old bias ply hanging in there for dear life. Well, the guys got her into the carport. Little sketchy without brakes, but to be honest, I'm used to it. Once you get rolling about 3 to 5 miles an hour, you grab reverse and a manual, and you can use that to woe you up. Got her up on the lift here. We're just going to let this dry a little bit. It's going to drip on the floor for a while. And I'll sock mop that pretty much. But now we can continue to work. Oh, tree limbs hitting the lift. Now we can continue to work. It's actually just starting to open up and really rain out there. So we just beat it. But we got the left front done. I think we'll probably just start on the other front. While we're working on the rears, we can crack the wheel cylinders up here and just let that gravity bleed. And we got to do the same process, obviously, on the wheels, which are holding air and not leaking, which has absolutely bent my brain. We have reset could this possibly work on the old wheel thing? Doesn't mean it's going to work going down the highway, but we got to do the same back here as well. So kind of just a hopscotch of stuff to do at this point. And man, this would have been a beautiful truck back in the day. Hugger orange with that trim. I'm sure it had hubcaps on it. Nice rig. Well, there's not much to explain here. Got to do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Going to get the Wildfire bridge jack under here, lift the front up, get this tire off, which I only put 3 lugs on. And same thing. Got to redo all of the brakes. We're not going to turn the drums. You know, basically, no matter how bad they are, we're just going to pretend we didn't see it. 80 grit it, clean it out. We're going to throw it back on, pack the bearings, all that stuff. Get this front done so we can start bleeding this and then move to the rear. This one's done. Rebuilding, brand new bearings and seals. Performance, drilled, drums, rebuilding. Okay, so now I think we're going to try to knock down 2 coyotes with a 2x4. Let's get it up a little bit higher, get the oil draining, and then we'll go back and start working on the rear, kind of forwards and backwards. When we finish up the engine stuff and start working on the brake stuff. So again, same thing, new soft rubber line, wheel cylinder, cleaned up all the internal parts, new springs, doodads, and whatnots. These kits are pretty handy. You can get them right through O'Reilly. They're semi-universal-ish, but they work. Oh, I was hoping I had like a part number. The only thing that could be goofy is the springs and the pins. They have long ones and short ones, so just pay attention to that. Well, we get our first look under the rig. There's the exhaust. Looks like it might have been cut or slip joint or something there fell apart. Boy, that's a tricky bend over the trailing arm. The muffler's, oh, it's packed full of stuff. Pretty rotten. Goes back that way. Still has the original wood floor underneath the plate. That's pretty cool. Pinion seal's starting to weep. Oh, oh boy. Oh wow. That is violently bad. So we're going to pretend we didn't see the carrier bearing has left. That's going to cause crazy vibration, but we don't have time to get into that stuff. The floors are actually really good, with the exception of, yeah, look at the support. That one's a little rotted. There. That's probably the worst of it. Well, and then we got our fuel line coming through. Not terrible, terrible. I've seen the worse than that, is what I'm saying. Anywho's, can a guy get this out so we can swap it and start draining this? And while that's happening, we'll start juicing the fittings in the back, see if we can get them off. Here's a better look at those cable organizers that come back around, and it's supposed to hug the block and go up through there, but we did not do that because I'm lazy. Okay. I need this exhaust pipe-a-lator out of my way. This is just gonna be banging and rattling around anyway. I dropped this clamp, and I might try to save that and do something later on down the road, but this snippet here. Okay, I'll just set that down there real quick. Oh wow, this stuff is really rotted. And a guy should be able to. Okay. Now, can I flex or bend? Oh, I can. Huh. Maybe the other way? Yeah. The guy does apologize for bouncing around so much here, but this is as real as it gets, fellers and fellettes. I don't have a team or a crew. I don't have a co-host or a mechanic or a camera crew or anybody. It's just me in here, and I got to do what I got to do to keep the old feet shuffling. You know what I mean? Oh boy, I can smell the varnished gas and old oil in that for sure. Hope that lifter tick comes out of this, but we'll see. Get a ranch dressing for the filter. See if we can fit this one in here. Ooh. Bending the canister, not a good sign. Oh boy, I don't know. That's not good, fellers. Uh-oh. And it's risky if we puncture that when we got no filter. Absolutely bent my wrench. This truck would need filter surgery. Now, I'm being honest with you, we don't have time for that. So that's the next person's problem. Just have to remember to mention it. This is going to stay on. At least we're dropping the oil and refreshing that. But, you know, for me to do this right, I'd probably drop the exhaust out of the way. Probably have to screwdriver this thing or something like that. I can't get the socket style on now that it's wrinkled and bent. That puppy is seized. Did a tiny little test here. Got an idea for the body if we get that far. I'm just trying to give myself a goal to be optimistic. Back to this dance again. Got both rears off. Letting the air out of them. One had a little bit in it. One didn't. These wheels are also rotted. And I'll show you how we can definitely tell they were sitting in the muck. So this one here, look at the backing plate. See right across there. Submerged. Yikes, I don't think they're saving this one. There's no amount of 80 grit. It's got to fix that. This one needed a lot of heat and was full of brown recluse spiders. So that was pretty cool. I have to do the same on the other side, but let's get after it, see what we can get done. The scary part here is not bending the line into pieces when trying to get the wheel cylinder off. If you're lucky and you have enough room, sometimes you can pull this line through with the wheel cylinder, vice grip the line, and turn the wheel cylinder, not the fitting. And then you just turn your new wheel cylinder on and push it back in. But if your lines are brittle, which of course that's what we're gonna have here, it'll probably leak there or over there. And then not recommended, but I'll see what I can come up with. Well, we're making progress. Got the drinker side done, had to bend up new lines on the rear. Don't look too close, it'll work. We ain't trying to win no car shows, fellers and fellettes. Over here, I've got an issue, the adjuster. Wow, that came out of the sea. I had to order one. The spring kit that I bought doesn't have the adjusters in it. That won't be here for a while and I gotta run and get it. That's the only piece I'm missing here. So we're gonna shift gears again to keep ourselves moving. I'm going to deal with this exhaust while it's up in our teeth. I have a couple cheap mufflers I bought off the Jungle website just to have around. I think they're more so for like straight six cars because they're small bodied mufflers. But if I could just bend a pipe, get it back to here, put a muffler in of some kind, I think I'll be plenty happy with that. So let's go ahead and do that. I can't have the exhaust wide open right at my feet. Well, I mean, I can. But the fumes, you know, I might get a little woozy. So let's see if we could do something more gooder. The exhaust is done. It ain't pretty, it's simple, and it's gonna work. Be interesting to see what this $16 muffler sounds like. Used an old hanger, hung one up. This is some leftover pipe from the Nova back in the day. Did the old cowboy chisel tip on it, of course, kind of an era correct look. But to be honest, I just didn't want to go over the trailing arm and rear axle. That's a mess. Could have went a little farther over here to get that case flat, but I didn't want to get too close to the drive shaft, so that is safe. And with the truck on the ground, a lot of that's going to be hidden. So there we go. El Cheapo Quick Easy Exhaust. By the way, I realize it's not common to have a muffler bender. That one is older than me. But nonetheless, you know, I've been doing this all my life, so you start to acquire these tools, but don't think that you can't do this at home. You can get 45s and 90s in pieces at even like O'Reilly and put together this same exact kit, just something cheap out the side or a little dump after a muffler, or you can even just weld on a cherry bomb glass pack if you wanted to. So don't get discouraged if you see a bender. That doesn't mean much other than I buy pipe in bulk to save money rather than buy the small pieces and doodads. All right, we got the adjuster in this one. That's all set up. Got this tire mounted. Throw this on, got to throw the other side on. Then we can get it back down on the pause, and we've got to start bleed-lating. And that could get a little hairy. I don't know what the proportioning valve is doing. The line from here forward, from the lines that we replaced, the lines from the master cylinder to the soft rubber lines. Hopefully we just don't start popping lines, because this could be a long, long night, is what I'm saying. But we're making progress. That's what matters. Oh, forgot the valve stem cap, for Pete's sake. Here's a better look at that exhaust now that it's down on the ground. Boy, it is incredible what tires and wheels do for a rig. This thing already looks much better, but did I mess up with the white walls out? Should I just unblack wall or white letter? I don't know. You guys bleep bloop it down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Well, it's finally time to finish up the brake system on this. We should just have to bleed it, and fingers crossed we don't blow out any lines. So I'm going to pop the hood, throw some juice in this thing, start pumping the pedal until I get a little bit of pedal or resistance. Then I'm just going to gravity bleed them. We'll start at the captain's side front, do the other front, and work our way around. I do have a special tool I'm going to install, though, that could save me a huge headache. I'll show you that quick. So this is your brake light indicator switch. This goes right up here in the proportioning valve. And from what I understand, this is just a normally open switch, meaning it's always in open state. When the shuttle moves in here, this is going to ground this out, ground the bulb in the dash, and illuminate the brake light. And that's that shuttle going into emergency mode, essentially, and forcing the fluid to the front of the proportioning valve. Now, what can happen when you're trying to bleed, if the system's dry, this will panic and go into that. There's this little tool, this guy right here, that will hang that pin up so it doesn't do that. Hopefully this will fit in here. Is it the same thread size? It is not. I got to try my other one. Well, now that I explained all of that, I have a fine thread one. This is coarse and won't work. I guess I got to order another one. They're like 10 bucks if you can find them. Thread this back in, plug it back up, top this thing off, and I guess we just kind of pray we don't have issues with it. Well, what we're hoping to see is the level go down in the master cylinder here. Oh, that fuel smell is terrible. There we go. So we're going to let this drip just enough to where it runs off the lift and gets on the floor and I slip on it. And then we'll move over to the passenger side. Oh, look at that color. We want to see clear fluid come through. Well, while the rear is bleedalizing, before I forget, we got to go topside bay too. Yeah, it's still just me working here. Anyway, we've got a sticky lifter. We know this thing is going to want more protection and cushion. We know it's a flat tapered cam, so the Valvoline VR1 is the perfect choice here. We're going to go with 2050 for that heavier weight. This is specifically designed for pushrod and flat tappet engines. 2 times more zinc for extreme wear protection. Okay. Drank up, little buddy. We'll be able to fire it up here after this. I think I even got a new air filtration system for it. We'll bolt that on. I'll close the bleeder on the other side over there, crack open the one on this side. And our list is getting short. We didn't make one as well, but there we go. Boom. Gotta find some rigs. Something like this. Well. Okay. There we go. This got a little wet with all the thunderstorms going on. Still a lot better than what was in there. There. Cute little 307. All right, let's fire this thing up. Fresh Earl, new exhaust. Sounds weird. Wow. Didn't start this hard. Wonder if the air filter really messed with it that much. Well, it's a lot better than straight pipe. Well, it's like a knockoff 40 series. Well, this is just absurd. How? We'll try it now. Whoa, I think you bumped it into gear. There we go. Oh, we gained a bunch of oil pressure. And I got to get under the hood, but that lifter tick has quieted down. Wow. Someone's got to help me understand this now. I think she might just be a little cold-blooded. She started coming around. Rings will start coming around as well. 28 years sitting. It's a long time, and it sounds pretty darn healthy. I can't wait to just run it down the highway at a consistent RPM. Probably the best thing for it, quite honestly, to wake back up. Well, we technically should have a running and driving truck. We won't know for sure until tomorrow. It's regrettably getting late. It is pitch black outside, but I still want to try to do something with the looks tonight. Now, the tires and wheels made a huge difference, but we could do more for next to nothing. Now, this paint, probably a pretty darn good candidate to buff on, but that's 3, 4, 5 wool pads, bottle or two of different special juices, and probably an entire day. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and shine juice this thing. And you can get this in the wipe-on version or the spray-on. And I'm not sure we've done a lot of spray-on, so we're gonna do it this way. Should be really fast. Don't have to tape nothing off. Just come on here and hit her. If we accidentally hit plastic, any of the trim, no big deal. If you don't want it on something, just wipe it off. Now, as a reminder, because I get asked this a lot, great time to talk about it while I'm doing this. Shine Juice is oil-based, and depending on the environment you live in, you may have to apply it a couple times a year. Now, the wipe-on clear coat is automotive-grade clear coat, so that is permanent when you put it on there. You can cut it, buff it, polish it, wax it, or of course, if you wanted to, you can remove it with just sandpaper like regular clear coat. This is a nice, quick, easy, fast way. Just want to throw some shine on it, hit a car show, something like that. And you can see, obviously, how fast and easy that is and how much of a difference it makes. We'll go to a fender next. We'll let this kind of dry up, and then we can come back and wipe off the excess. If you don't wipe it off, you just get more shine, essentially. You just want to be careful not to put it on crazy heavy. Boy, that orange really pops. Boom. Now trim, don't worry about it. Just go right over it. Plastic lens, no big deal. I'm just picking up, I tested this earlier just to see if I'd like it or if I wanted to do clear. Just picking off right there. Look at that. Long bed, I'm thinking 3 cans. We'll see what happens. Well, that was as quick and easy as it can get. Got the shine back around on her. And I think I got one more thing we can do quick that ought to spruce this old gal up just a little bit more. I've had these laying around for a long time. Actually stumbled upon them today. Oh yeah. Yep. Well, I think we went on ahead and accidentally made a going to town rig here. This thing looks great. And the best part is, it's an absolute trash fire. There's nothing in this. I think the most expensive thing is the center caps, if I'm being honest. And maybe I could slip them in my backpack if we get to where we're going. You guys can do this at home. There's no magic here. It's just hard work, perseverance, gumption, late night or two. Bam! You got a respectable rig. You could slide right up to the Bengal haul in and not think twice about it. Well, it is very late. I'm going to spend the rest of the night picking up my huge mess here, throwing a couple tools in the bed, and tomorrow morning we'll back it out, get to look at this thing in the daylight, throw a change of clothes in this thing, and we're going to hit the road for a road trip and see how this thing actually does on the highway after a 3-decade-long nap. See you in the morning. Well, good morning. Bright and early, cold, foggy morning. Got the truck warming up here. Started thinking I forgot to mess around with the lights last night. It'd be nice to have headlights at least this morning in the fog. Maybe a tail light or two. And normally the foot switches on these go bad, and there's a really easy way to test that. The lights are on right now. We've got a side marker and a front parking, and that's it. I'll show you a quick way. By the way, our tick is back. If I can get this to be quiet for a second. I can't. It's ticking again. Anyway, I put a lead on the headlight, and if I jump this to positive, you can hear the alternator bog, but we got both lights. So this connection from here to here and the ground is good, which means it's not getting power through the bulkhead, and that runs through the foot switch. So now we can get a meter, test the foot switch quick, and I could probably just jump it right there and we'll have at least headlights. Digging through the floor, there's the foot switch and it's all sulfured up. Tried to pull the connector out of it and the whole thing came out. So let's go ahead and jump 2 of these pins, see what happens. Couldn't get that fitting out, had to cut it, but just blue to brown, which I believe is low beam. I think gray is high. But now we have headlights on a switch. Now we'll work on tail lips. This bulb just needs jiggled. I'm hoping that side's the same case, but who knows. So on this side, one of the little plungers is stuck. It doesn't want to pop back out like this one. So I get my juice. Speaking of juice, we'll just juice it. Clean, scrape, juice, clean, scrape. I think we might be able to get it to come around. Ah, got it. We don't have a side marker, but we don't need those where we're going. I got smoke rolling out of the dash. Might have to investigate that a little further. Doesn't smell electrical though. I think it's bad heater core. Great. Well, I think we are ready to go. Spray paint, some shine juice, a couple late nights. Now, let's see if we can cruise this thing about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. I've got a really nice route planned. It's winding roads up through the trees and the hills. It's going to go through a handful of small towns I've never been to before, and I like to do that whenever possible. You know, on your map system there, avoid the highways. Get into rural America. Fill up at these small stations and hit the antique stores and all that stuff. And we're going to try to do that today as well if anything is open. Work our way slowly. I'm going to get fumigated. The heater core definitely is leaking. And it's smoky and stinky, but that might be the least of our issues. I don't know. Let's find out. Well, the guy's been driving for, I don't know, 30 miles, something like that. So far, great. We've got the battery gauge, it's charging, oil pressure's fantastic. Speedometer's working, but it's very inaccurate. 94,000 miles, it says, and change. I don't know if the odometer's rolling or not. Can't see. Don't have a temp gauge, so we're going to rely on the sniffer. Thankfully, it's nice and cool today. Speaking of which, it's starting to drizzle and rain, and we don't have wipers. I did wipe this down last night with Rain XL because it was supposed to be clear today, but as you know, if I'm trying to drive something home or anywhere, all of a sudden the clouds part and here comes the rain. Great. Steering is significantly better than I thought it would be. I mean, it's manual rack old truck steering, but I didn't even look at the rag joint, completely forgot. Speaking of being ragged out, the back is bouncy. We got quite a bit of weight back there. I got a toolbox, a couple parts. What else have I got? Extra battery in the luggage. I got to figure out how to get home. So I brought some random GM stuff, some fluids, whatnot. But anyway, I forgot to mention that one of the shocks isn't even hooked up. So it does this. It's like a three-wheel backwards bounce. It's kind of cool, but slightly inconvenient. We're going to keep on moseying, nothing but back roads, and everything possible to avoid the interstate. This speed is just fine. We're going to tootle. Oh, the fan shroud gets me nervous every now and then. When the wind hits it right, it's like, oh! But then you realize, you know, it's not the bottom end falling out of the engine, so it's good. Small block Chevy, as long as we got a couple pieces of oil pressure, we should be just fine. Let's enjoy the cruise. Heater core is getting really, really bad. I can't see out the windshield. Hard to see the smoke, but it is just billowing out. I got my gloves trying to plug it. Wow, we got trash in the road. I'm wiping the window like crazy, but I'm gonna have to pull over and address this. It's just so much. Oh. Hard to breathe. Random thought. A couple of you are still going, Derek, take the pig pen off the back, for Pete's sake. Well, I don't want to. Well, mostly because then I would have to haul it to the scrapyard. I don't really have a use for it. I mean, I could throw some chickens in there or something, but then I'd have to monkey with it down the road. So the next guy is going to have to deal with that. I am going to pull over and we are going to try to bush fix this heater core because this is just you know. So basically, guys, just going to take this and swing it right to the pump, and that'll go all the way around the heater core over here and hopefully fix our issue. Boom! Bang! Fixed. Maybe. Well, the truck's doing good. Seems to be running just fine. Still got that lifter check. I went too far north. Wasn't paying attention. I think we're in a little town called White House, way north of Nashville. That's alright, we're just tootling. We're going to start heading east, grab some old highways here and see what we can find. I like doing this though because I haven't been, maybe I have been through here. Nothing's really looking familiar yet, but I like exploring and just being spontaneous. You know what I mean? Saw a couple of cars for sale on the side of the road, so I swanged around. We're gonna go look. I think I saw an international pickup. I don't know if it was an L110 or what it was. Here they are. And I think a Rambler, maybe. Make sure there's no trespassing sign or anything like that. Oh, there is for sale sign everywhere. I think we're good. Oh man, a Rambler cross country. This is cool. 2,500 bucks. 6-cylinder, push button automagical. It's really in not that bad a shape. Typical rust on the hood. Oh, there's a ton of Bondo on this side. Here's that International. Oh, it's a 130. Yeah. Still really cool. I like these International cabs, the dual windows. And we got another Rambler. Been a while since I had one. 3 on the tree manual. You get $1,000 off for the Manuel versus the Automagical. I wonder if either one of these run. Make one good one out of both. I don't know. He's got some Jeeps, international pickup, a travel yawl. Well, I snagged his number just in case we feel like doing something completely different. Maybe give him a chat tonight. Let's get back on the road. Well, I whacked the throttle pulling out of there because we were getting on this highway, and it started cutting out. It's acting like I got no fuel in the car. The one thing I didn't bring, and the one thing we had to really nurse back to health, was the fuel pump. Smart. I think we are losing it. It should technically pump more fuel as we're in the RPM, but it did not. So I'm letting it sit here and idle, hopefully fill the bowl up again, and we'll stay out of the power valves. For Pete's sake, just drive it normal instead of a mad teenager. Well, my grandpa used to say, why is your leg through the firewall? Just ease. Oh, he's right. Well, here we are now. This isn't hot. It's not vapor locking. I don't hear fuel boiling. Fuel line isn't kinked. So I'm going to crawl up in here and see if we have a pump shot. Ugh. See what happens here. Yeah, no accelerator pump, which doesn't fail immediately, so the bowl is empty. So we lost fuel prime or the pump. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Let's see if I can try to prime it again. See if that does anything. Nope, probably not. Okay. Okay, primed it. Hopefully it's pulling fuel. Come on. Okay. Let's see. Well, guess we'll sacrifice this. Ooh, pina colada. Okay. I'm going to empty this. I'm going to dip this into the fuel cell. Get some gasoline in this so I can prime the fuel, make it happen here. Mm-hmm. And get caffeine. Now, can my hand... Oh, yeah. Okay. Hear bubbles. We got a little something, something. No! Oh! Wow, that was a waste of 27 cents. Now... let's see. Pour it down my finger would be better. There we go. Fill the bowl up here. It should at least fire, and then hopefully run long enough to let that pump suck again. There was some air in there. Now we just have to wait. Make sure it's pulling from the tank. Well, guys, been idling for a while, so I think we'll try to give her a shot. Nope. It's not good. Huh. We got 6 miles to the next parts store. How can we do this? Well, that didn't work. But I got a good Samaritan named Brandon. He pulled over to see. Several people pulled over. Nice folks. And this one said, I'll just follow you. There's a parking lot up here. So I filled the bowl up, And I'm trying to get the truck off the road at least. I don't want to cause a big traffic issue, people swerving around me or anything like that. And then I'm going to see if I can bum a ride to the parts store. But don't think there's any taxis out here. Huh. We're not making it very far. I don't want to plug up someone's driveway either or trespass, so trying to find a public approach. I think I just found one. Well, we're in Brandon. Is this a Subaru?
Subaru, yes sir.
The S and the T and the I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Let me show you. This is Brandon, by the way.
How's it going?
He recognized the toolbox on the side of the road, swang around. Let me show you this dash quick. This kind of reminds me of like Star Trek Enterprise days. But they all work, which is nice. There's O'Reilly up here, I think 7 more miles. I think we'll see if we can get a clicky-clacky. All right, got 2 clicky-clackies, and I figured out the reason we broke down. Pulled an amateur move, didn't hang any little trees, but I got some. So maybe that'll fix it. Well, back at the truck here, got the pump assembled, coming up with the plan. Big thank you to Brano once again. You know, it's funny. Things have changed a lot, I've noticed, like the last 5 to 8 years. Back in the day, I legitimately hitchhiked. Just put the thumb out, got rides, got around. That's how I got the parts stores when I broke down and everything. And that has really changed. A lot of trucking companies changed their policies. They can't have passengers. Same with work trucks and things like that. Still get a lot of folks that stop and say hi and want to help, but it's hard to actually get a ride anymore, which I understand. You know, it's a different time, and you know, this big old goof with a flannel and a mullet, it's like, don't trust that guy. But now today, it's pretty common. There's fans all over the place, which is great because, you know, I'm not going to take their wallet, and they know that. And it's great to get a ride every now and then. So appreciate it. And if you stop to help those that got a flat tire, you know, have a hood up, it's great to be a good Samaritan and ask, see if there's something you can do. So I've got it in line here. These work best closest to the fuel source, and I'm going to run it on my Milwaukee battery. I brought my impact in case we had a flat or something like that. And I'm going to try this before I cut the steel line up that goes from the pump to the fuel make it happener. This way we'll kind of prime or pump fuel to the mechanical pump, and it should go through that basically as a screen. And if it doesn't, we'll go on to the next step, which is figuring out how to cut that tube and run the rubber line directly to the fuel make it happener. So we should be able to fire this up. There it goes. Hopefully starts pulling fuel here. Should change tone. Come on, bugger. Come on. Might have to. There it goes. Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Oh no! It's primed now. All right, let's see what it does now. Oh yeah. Oh, I stalled it. All right, let this idle a minute. Then, ha-ha! Be kind. We're gonna hang these up. That'll fix it. You know, I gotta be honest, it's kind of a banana sunscreen smell, and I really like it. All right, we gotta get some miles down. Nope, not working. So we're gonna have to bypass the mechanical pump. Gotta dig through my little toolbox. We got a Leatherman, some miscellaneous stuff, see what we can come up with here. My miscellaneous grab box, I found this. That'll work perfectly. There we go. That is going to shoot fuel for a little bit. Whatever's left in the pump. So let's turn it that way. Well, I stopped again. Now it's like I got something, just got pulled through the fuel making happener. It's right off of the idle circuit, and before you get into the throttle, it just cuts out. You either got to hammer it wide open or idle around. So I'm going to try to rev it up, stuff a rag over the top of the carb, and then pull it off, create a bunch of vacuum, and pulse it with that. If there's any debris, hopefully it'll just pull it through. If not, we might be pulling the fuel making happener back off and cleaning it. I pulled over some abandoned building, but I'm in a town right now, so now's my best shot to try to do this quick. It's a little better, but there's definitely trash in there. My fault, I didn't run a filter. I just trusted that tank, but I'm sure that got full of junk sitting there forever. Whoop. Well, we'll try it again. What was supposed to be a 3-4 hour cruise has turned into a day. But that's just the way she goes sometimes, you know? Well, Pigpen, the C10 has done it. We've arrived at our destination. 28-year nap, and this thing now runs, drives, stops, and looks great. This is a nice little truck with a cute little story behind it, and I had a fantastic day. What a beautiful drive today. Pretty much across central Tennessee. It was great. Now this is where I normally ask you fellers and fellas, what do we do with this rig at this point? But you might have noticed, I mentioned or alluded to a couple times, this one already has a new home. That's right, it's gone. You won't see this truck again, but that's what we do here at Vice Grip Garage. We find them, save them, fix them up goodly enough, get them back on the road, enjoy them, and then hopefully rehome it and someone else can take the torch from there. Thanks guys for watching so very much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next Friday.